Claire Werlick, this is my international speech. In Mexico, a mutilated woman hung from a bridge in the border city of Nuevo Laredo is a one-day story, quickly forgotten. 5 severed human heads dumped near an elementary school in Acapulco is a 5-paragraph news item. Whose heads? Why? Because this violence is occurring in another country does not increase its relevance to our lives and should cause no less outrage from us as if it would have occurred here. People are still people. I decided to do this topic because I live in the state of Texas, which is a bordering state to Mexico. So therefore, I am closely related to the drug cartels in Mexico. And also, I've done a lot of research on this topic, so it makes me credible to explain this information to you. The drug business in Mexico is a problem for nations all around the world due to the incredible violence, expense, and political tension created by it. First, I'm going to talk about how this problem is costing the United States and other countries lots of money. Then I'll talk just about how much violence is going on in and around Mexico because of this. And finally, I'll talk about how this is affecting the global community as a whole, politically. Many Americans would agree that the U.S. government sometimes spends money on things that seem unnecessary or avoidable, and perhaps this is one of them. The drug trade into Mexico is costing the U.S. people too much money. The expenses for drug control efforts comes from the U.S. government, which is funded by the taxes of the U.S. citizens. Therefore, the U.S. people are paying for the mistakes of people and the decisions of people in the drug cartel industry. Okay, in the WhiteHouse.gov, it talks about how in the 2014 National Drug Control Strategy, the president is requesting $25.4 billion in fiscal year 2014 to reduce drug use and its consequences in the United States. Drugs in general are costing the U.S. money in ways that some people don't even realize because they're not aware of this issue. So drugs are one of the biggest reasons for crime and incarceration in America. Okay, according to RAND.org, SimianAssociates.com, taken together, these costs, crime, health, and productivity, total $193,096,930, with the majority share attributable to lost productivity. The findings are consistent with prior work that has been done in this area and are using a generally comparable methodology. Okay, so this is just an artistic rendition of the Mexico flag, which you can see drugs and then obviously killing. So this is supposed to artistically represent Mexico drug cartels. And this is, according to whitehouse.gov, $6,120 per second is the estimated cost of drug use to U.S. society in lost productivity, healthcare, and costs. Okay, in addition to costing the U.S. too much money, the drug trade is an issue to people everywhere because of the violence it causes. Okay. The drug business in America is a problem to people everywhere because of the violence it causes to innocent people. Martin Luther King once said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. People often consider violence in other countries to be less extreme or important than violence in their own country, which is wrong and dangerous because violence in other countries eventually affects our country. According to a tally reported by the Peña Nieto on FAS.org, the administration in February of 2013, 26,121 Mexicans reported missing over the course of the Calderon administration. The registry had been compiled under the Calderon government, but was never published. The amount of deaths that have occurred from this ongoing war should be enough to cause an international outcry. If this many people were dying in the U.S., people would be very upset. No one knows exactly how many people have died in this war. The Washington Post says that the government released a tally of deaths due to criminal rivalry late last year, a total of 34,612. Despite promises of updates, it has been silent since. Newspaper tallies, estimates of academics, and testimony by U.S. anti-narcotics officials put the current toll somewhere between 45,000 and 60,000. Okay, this is a graph that is representing the amount of executions from 2006 to 2009. You can see how it drastically increased because of drugs, and that's very bad. Okay. While the violence that is being caused by this war is atrocious and disturbing, it is also disrupting international politics as well. The vast majority of drugs produced and trafficked produced and trafficked in Mexico are consumed in other nations, mostly the U.S. This foreign consumption creates yet another black market for drug transportation, further funding the cartel and its violence. According to RAND.org, U.S. demand for illicit drugs creates markets for Mexican drug trafficking organizations. The consumption of Mexican drugs by foreign countries funds the cartel and gives it its power. The problems faced by the Mexican people from the cartel are not caused by the people. Okay, and according to Yale.edu, the U.S. is the world's largest consumer of drugs. It comprises just 5% of the global population, yet most estimates suggest that the U.S. accounts for over 25% of global demand for illicit drugs. At the same time, Mexico is the U.S. largest supplier of illicit drugs, and an increasingly significant supplier of drugs to many European nations. Furthermore, in recent years, Mexico has been affected by an epidemic of violence stemming from organized crime of unprecedented proportions. Okay, so this is a picture representing a drug bust that happened 2 months ago in Mexico, and the drug cartel was found to have about $30 million, which shows why this is an international issue, because these drug cartels are in so much power they might be more powerful than government officials because of how much money they have. Okay, and the international politics of the nation are just one of the many things being negatively affected by the presence of the cartel in Mexico. The growing drug business in Mexico is a problem for nations all around the world due to the incredible violence, expense, and political tension created by it. I first discussed how the United States is costing them a lot of money. Then I discussed the violence that it's producing, and then I discussed the importance of how the drug cartels are affecting international politics. Then there are many problems being caused by the cartel in Mexico are certainly ruthless enough to merit a response from the global community. And the merciless nature of the violence and detriment to the country's political agenda are just disturbing. In addition to the violence, motivation for intervention from other countries can surely come from the money and the political impacts of the actions of the cartel. When will the innocent people of Mexico get the justice they deserve? And when will the cartel be held accountable for their actions? When will the violence end? Thank you.